When I started working, I felt like, yes, I needed to do something for the children.
Wonderful. And where did you grow up? Where did this happen?
I grew up in a county, we have counties in Kenya, Machakos County in Kenya. And that's where I was born and I grew up with all the difficulties as a child. And my father was a drunkard. He used to drink a lot of beer and created violence to my mom and my younger, brother. And so when he came, we had to run, hide ourselves underneath the, bed. So it was very, very bad. However, then after about 10, 11 years later, when I was 16 years old, is when I felt like giving up in life. And I never wanted to continue with this kind of life. And I decided to take away my life, commit suicide.
Wow.
So by then, God really sent somebody. And always today, I say an angel. And he saw me desperate when I wanted to commit suicide. And I felt like, okay, he's saying, hello. I could not really recognize him. But something happened into my heart. I said, okay, this man has got something special. So he requested me to follow him. And we went to a church, which was there, and where now the preacher was speaking about the forgiveness. Because I was bitter about my own parents, where they left me, abandoned me. And the preacher spoke about the forgiveness of sin and how the mighty King, Jesus Christ, came and died for all and every person. And therefore, that was the beginning of me thinking about to forgive my own parents. And the life changed after that. And I started working in the world where now I had a hope. Before I did not have hope. So that's how I came up.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. And how fortunate we are that you weren't successful with committing suicide. What about your brother? What happened to him?
My brother grew up, but they left with my parents. They went to Rift Valley. It is a place known as Elbagon in Kenya. And as a young brother, I never saw him again also.
Wow.
Until sometimes when I grew and I was big enough and I started doing business, that's when I went to looking for my parents and also for my many younger brothers. And so we got connected again.
Wonderful. Good. That's good that you got connected again. And it's amazing to me to hear your story and how you've taken adversity and become strong and incorporated Christ in that. And from that, you're doing amazing things to help others. That's beautiful. When did you start setting up to help the orphan children? What year?
Mm-hmm. It was in the year 1989, November 17th, when the Lord God really, having 3 years searching, and I was thinking about how can I do and help. I did not know how to do that. But this was as a result of me going to Nairobi. In Nairobi, I was trying to get a parking for my car in the city of Nairobi. And I had some business to do because I had a business of buses and insurance company. I had also motor components and accessories that I used to distribute, and oil and the gas in the whole of Western Kenya. And so I went to Nairobi one day in the year 1986, April, and I went to do business. I found street boys and parking boys all together. When they saw my vehicles as I parked, they asked me for money. And I said, I cannot give you money. I thought giving them money would really encourage them to buy drugs, and then I did not give them. I went to that office, came back. After only 30 minutes, I found my car was not there.
Wow.
These boys organized about stealing of my car, And that was a big impact because God used that incident to remind me of my past. Because as I grew up with all these problems, and I remembered going to Nairobi, walking barefooted, no shoes, no money, and I was knocking everywhere in the city of Nairobi, and how God helped me to get a job, and afterward a good job, and then I bought a vehicle, and through that vehicle I started doing business of taxi, and these vehicles multiplied and become many vehicles. I became a rich man, and now I continue to do business. I forgot where I came from, and this incident alone reminded me. It was a turning back to see what God had in his store, and it was appointing me and asking me and it's instructing me to go to the street and get the children who had no parents, orphans, and bring them to our house and be able to move together as my own children.
Awesome. And what's amazing about your story is because you lived through that yourself, the children relate to you and it's real and they respect you, they understand you, and you can connect to them, which is beautiful. So Mike, talk to us about how you became connected with Dr. Mully.
Well, I just wanted to say one thing. November the 17th was my birthday.
Oh,
and
wow.
I didn't realize I had such a wonderful birthday present from you, Dr. Mully. I got to know about Dr. Mully from it was sort of a TV show put on by a Christian musician, and it featured Dr. Mully and talked about the wonderful things he was doing. So from that, that piqued my curiosity. So I started to do some research, and I found out that Charles just has this incredible orphanage family that he created. I went to see his Mully movie. I also have your Mully app on my cell phone.
Oh, there's an app. We have to talk about that. In fact, we have to go back and highlight and give contact information, but we'll come back to that.
But from that is how I became acquainted with what he was doing.
Awesome. And why don't you elaborate? What is the Mully app? And let's talk about your website, your address, some promotional things.
Okay. I wish I had brought my cell phone in now, but the app is very clever. It has got some information on it. You can sign up. He sends out messages periodically. He's actually created a very clever app. You can earn points by doing various things that promote the Mully children's family. And so I was pretty intrigued by that because I work as an instructional designer, creating learning for the internet and things like that. But the real powerful thing that attracted me to Charles was the fact that this man came from absolutely nothing, became a very wealthy man, and then basically turned everything he had over to God.
Wow.
And God continued to bless him in incredible ways.
That's awesome. And what was amazing was when you were talking about the story when your car was stolen, and instead of being angry over it, you turned it into a way of how can I help, which is beautiful because most people would not have had that attitude.
When I look back, and then I see really God's doing, because he reminded me of my past, and instead of revenging or hating the street children or the street boys, then I came to realize I was like them. In fact, when I saw little children at the back of their street mothers, I saw my face. I saw myself. And then God reminded me, yes, I brought you up in a very special way. And I've given you the wealth, given you life including the salvation. And now you have tried to run away from the truth, because I never wanted people to know my past. I had forgotten completely. This incident woke me up, and then I became very serious. It came to be in the year 1989, November 17th. When I was working in my office, I could not work anymore. I became sick, and this made me now to feel so afraid of my life. I felt like I was going to die, because the voice for 3 years, from 1986 to 1989, there was nothing else, that everything all the time going around. So I took my car from my office, and then I drove all the way to my house, that my wife couldn't really take me to hospital, and I got lost instead. Instead of going 5 minutes to drive, I found myself over 35 minutes along the highway going to Uganda from Eldoret, where I was doing business. And so at 4 hours in the car, I was struggling with the Lord, and then I was asking God, really? Me? No. 3 years fast? Gone. I was saying no. 4 hours in the car. And that struggle brought me to the fact that I needed to make a decision. As the Lord asked me, and it asked me more and more, you are the person, you are the one to take care of the children. You be the father to them. And so the moment I said yes, because it was a struggle, that I got the greatest joy in my heart. And I said, yes, Lord, use me. Use me. Fill me with the strength and the energy, and fill me with the hope, because it is not a once lifetime, it is forever. And so I made the commitment to serve the Lord, and by then I was 40 years. It is now 30 years gone. I am 70 years now.
Wow.
And
that's shocking. I wouldn't have thought that.
for that years, I've seen the goodness of Jehovah God through serving the less fortunate children, not only in Kenya, but also in Africa, many countries. And God has really blessed the work of our hands. I cannot forget the gift of a wife, very beautiful lady, and she loves me, she loves the children, she loves the work that we do together.
Perfect.
And we are blessed with 8 children, 5 daughters and 3 sons.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Plus, all of the children that you've helped really are your children.
Oh, yes.
How many thousands of children have you helped?
Indeed, over 15,000.
Wow.
15,000 children, boys and girls, who have gone through the program. And at the moment now, we are caring for 3,500.
Wow.
3,500, all of them. We have schools. God gave me the ability and that dream to make a place to be conducive environment for children with the school, from kindergarten, primary schools, secondary school, college.
Wow.
We have our own college.
That's amazing.
We have our own high schools as well as primary school.
How many? Where the locations?
We have 5 locations and 6 locations. 2 locations very close to each other, about 30 minutes to drive, almost, let's say, 35 kilometers from apart. And the first one, we take care of all the children right from day one, children who have been thrown into dustbin, and 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years, and so forth.
And are these boys and girls?
Boys and girls. It's a
awesome.
mixture. In fact,
Great.
Girls are many. We have about 58% of the total population are girls, and 43% are boys. And therefore, we have the schools. We have about 200 teachers.
Wow.
and social workers who will help them, and other people, about 300 again, who do some other work, because of course we care. The most important thing is about loving those children, creating a shelter for them,
You're giving them hope.
health care, education, building their self-esteem so that they become self-reliant. We build their future by training and the Word of God, that always, every day, we train and teach them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And
So-
I'm sure you're training them also to give back as well.
Yes, we train them how to give it back. They come, they work even before they join the public, sector, and to work. And so we give them that a training so that they know how better it is to give back. And one of the things that Mully Children's Family, that we are aspiring more over the last 30 years now, is about knowing how to care for other people. That moral responsibility of caring for others, being there for others, not getting everything for myself, and it's setting good example like I did, and also I did, following Jesus Christ to show himself to the whole world. He died for each one of us, and through that then, and each one of us, we have that freedom to worship him and to have hope in him. And so we are training the children to become very responsible people in the society, because I believe in the very near future, even some of them, they have started becoming doctors, others
Wonderful.
lawyers, we have business women, we have pastors, missionaries, we have members of parliament, others who still continue to aspire to become senators. And one day I know Kenya and Africa will change for good.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That's beautiful. And I should have mentioned earlier, so Mike, I know you through Rotary, and one of the amazing things that Dr. Mully just said is, and one of the things that inspires me about Rotary is it's a way that people in business can give back, both locally and internationally. And so I'm so thrilled that you brought Dr. Mully here to us so we can have our listeners and our viewers hear about the amazing things that he's doing. So thank you.
Well, it's actually my pleasure, and I have to confess that when Jason first contacted me, it kind of came out of the blue, because hadn't had any contact for months, and my first thought was, is he serious? He's really gonna bring Dr. Mully to Lodi? And so I found out that he was actually bringing him to California, and he was going to go to Los Angeles and then Santa Barbara and work his way up and leave. But I really would like Dr. Mully to tell me something. I'm very curious. So I'm reading the book Hannah's Hope. It's an inspiring book, but what I would like to know is what happened to Hannah after she grew up. I read a little bit about how it sounded like she was a child psychologist possibly, but what is she actually doing?
And she is really a great lady, because she went through the program, and I remember that within MCF, where we have all the schools, and she went up to grade 12. She finished grade 12. Then she went to study in university, psychology, and social work as well. She finished, and at the moment she's working with the Mully Children's Family. She's a lecturer at the Mully College in Kenya.
Wonderful. Jason, let's come back to you.
Sure.
So earlier we were talking about that Dr. Mully is going to Washington from here, but where is he going to be tonight? And talk about how you chose where he's speaking at and what the goal is.
Sure. Tonight he'll be at Grace Point Church in Lodi. And thank you for Michael for setting that up. He actually knows the details, probably knows the address and everything off the top of his head. But my job, while Charles is in Kenya doing this wonderful work, is to spread the word around the United States. I travel the U.S. meeting with people, facilitating these type of events when he's in town, and just doing my best to spread this wonderful news about Mully Children's Family in Kenya. So yes, tonight we're doing an event at this church, and Charles will speak for a short time, and we'll have a video to play, and just a nice time to get to personally meet Charles and ask questions and that kind of thing.
Great. And that's at Grace Point Church. Did you want to give the details?
Yeah, it's at Grace Point Church, 6:30 tonight.
What's the address?
It's 801 South Lower Sacramento Road in Lodi. And after Charles is finished speaking, we're going to have some refreshments so people can come and talk to Charles personally.
Excellent.
And are we going to have these for sale?
Yes, we will have movies, some books, brochures, and information. They're available and for sale and for people to take.
All right, and let's back up and give some logistics. What's the web address?
Sure.
How can people donate? And are you looking for volunteers? Are you looking for just monetary donations, items? What do you need?
First thing is our website is MCF, that's Mully Children's Family US.org. And on that website, you can sign up for our newsletter. And we promise not to send a lot of spam type emails, but you can get our newsletter that fills you in on all the great things that are happening in Kenya. And what we're looking for right now as far as donations is the recurring gift. Small amount, large amount, of course, is great, but it really doesn't matter. If we can count on a monthly donation and promise from somebody, it really allows us to budget out ahead, and that's very helpful. Also, of course, we have a child sponsorship program. I know everybody does, but we have one right now. Currently, we have 331 of our children out of 3,000 sponsored.
Wow.
So we can definitely use the help there if someone is willing to do that. That information is also on our website. And as far as volunteers, yes, I can use all the help I can get. If somebody is inspired by the movie and wants to help us, please reach out to me, and I will get information in your hands. I will come visit your church or event, and I will do my very best to bring Charles when he is in the United States with me, because I know that makes such a great impact.
Of course. And what about people that have access to dictionaries, school supplies, children's clothing, anything like that?
You know, we definitely welcome that kind of stuff, but what we have found is we had someone recently want to donate literally a container of clothing. The shipment and import issues with getting them into Kenya sadly makes it to where it's almost easier to just purchase them over there. So, I tell people, we would love that gift, but if you want to allocate a financial gift to clothing, school books, computers, you can do that, and we will guarantee that the money goes to that. And
Awesome.
I will follow up with them and give them feedback as to how that gift affected the kids.
Great. So you can have targeted giving for specific goals.
Most definitely.
Awesome.
Most
I'd
definitely.
like to add a couple of things.
Sure.
I have 2 children, okay, and I am very happy to sponsor them for you. But I want Charles to tell you about something else that I think is very important for people to know. Charles not only takes care of children, he also helps his community, but he also believes in taking care of the environment.
Awesome.
And he has a program that deals with making things sustainable. So Charles, would you tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you.
Are you losing sound?
Thank you very much indeed. Well, we have a wonderful program, and this program is based on climate change, whereby when we moved to where we are, a place known as Ndalani and Yatta, it was completely very, very, very dry, almost, semi-arid, desert. However, I started a program, and this program on using water, planting trees,
Oh, great.
watering, and we have been able to plant more than 5.8 million trees
Beautiful.
within our own property. But again, more than 10 million into the community.
What kind of trees are you planting? Are they specific types of trees?
Those are the best trees that we call them Grevillea. Grevillea, they are good for timber or lumber, and also for firewood. And again, the change of climate, because with the trees, then everything goes well, formulation of clouds and the air. So it has really participated. I've been able to be awarded by United Nations an award for propagating and for steering up the planting of trees. And therefore, we have also been able to put up what we call dams, water reservoirs to collect water, whereby we use throughout the year using those water reservoirs, and whereby before there was nothing like that. And then it goes on the sustainability program. We don't only depend on the donation, while we really appreciate very much for the American people who really give generously. But on our side, we give effort to make sustainability through farming. And through farming, we grow food, vegetables, and fruits
Great.
for children. We also have a chicken project where we have eggs to feed many, many children, chicken meat, and then again we export French beans or green beans to Europe, in Germany,
Wow.
as well as Netherlands, and we earn foreign exchange. And we are able to employ altogether over 500 people only for the farm. And
Wow.
then we pay them with the money that comes from the farm. So this generating income has made us again to have a platform whereby the countries like in Zambia, Malawi, Ghana, Nigeria, they have been coming to Mully Children Family to learn about this new model. It's called Mully model. And this is really brought another, plans and thoughts for the people in Africa, that we can change our world as we also change the way in manner in which we bring up the children who were nothing, who were thrown out, who were in the street, who are drug addicted, girls who were prostitutes, all of them, bring them and give them hope until when they are grown up over 22 years is when we release them to go.
And why is there such a high number of orphans? And I was going to ask you, how do you, when they enter the program, how do you help to stop them from being on drugs or other issues, crime, and things that they might be involved in?
One of the main element is about love for children, and the other thing is to put up program that helps them. One is about games and sports, and that will make them feel like, and even singing. It's
Wonderful.
a therapy by itself, and get them to be busy throughout. And even the social worker and the pastors that we have employed to talk to the children and be able to be with them. And I, as their father, and my wife as their mother, being closer to them, talk to them, encourage them, build their self-esteem, that gives them the platform to be able now to move with the confidence, being able to know, yes, I am somebody, yes, I can.
Great. And are all of these children orphans in the sense that their parents are deceased, or are they runaways?
These children, they like another, but more, because some of them, they're addicted to drugs and hard drugs, also sniffing of glue, inhaling of petrol.
Wow.
All these kind of
Horrible.
And prostitution and stealing for them to survive, and being able to help them through prayer and teaching them about the Word of God, and then engage them into all those activities with the love. So that, and learning how to forgive, because they have to learn how to forgive because on my side, I was so much successful when I forgave my own parents for what they did to me. So I teach them again, they need to forgive those who really offended them and those who abused them, and so that they can build a very strong future when they release that from their heart and from their mind.
And what would you like to see your foundation grow to in the next 5 years, 10 years? What's your vision for the future years?
My vision, one, is that to see that in many parts of our African continent, being able to train people to catch up the vision. And this vision helps them to be like being able to serve others and not to consider ourselves as the key people, but to see others and the children and the people in the community, see them, they are the subject, they are the people to be served. And already I've been having people from different countries like Malawi, Zambia, and Nigeria. Even this coming week, we are going to receive people from Liberia in West Africa coming to Kenya to learn. And therefore, the training, to improve that training of training others so that they became also trainers and they spread that spirit
That's awesome.
of helping, the compassion, that passion of the Lord Jesus Christ be able to be spread. That's what I feel for the next 5 years. The other thing is that to improve the education, because already we have what we call the college, and where we offer diploma. Then after diploma, you can, 2 years you can join university of your choice and then earn a degree. So within the next 5 years, have Mully International University.
All right.
Where people
Beautiful.
will come and then they'll learn about what we are doing.
And where would that be? Where would the location of the university be?
The location already we have started this
Great.
in a place known as Yatta. Yatta, it's in Machakos County, in near Thika. There is a big city known as Thika, and Nairobi is only 1 hour away from that place. And we are on 500 acres
Oh, wow.
piece of land where
Great.
we have established the institution, and we
Great.
are going on.
So can you do targeted giving to the university
Most
also?
definitely. Of
Wonderful.
course. Yes.
And is there an ETA for when the university will be functioning? Is there a time frame?
Yes, this is within the next 5 years. because
Wonderful.
We started with the college first,
Mm-hmm.
and this college now, I would also like to appeal to people in this country to pray and to keep on thinking how they can help us because we don't charge. Those children
Wow.
no money. All
Wow.
these children who are learning there, they have no money. They have gone through the program of rehabilitation at MCM, Mully Children Family. They would really need to get the best education. And I would like people who can really join me in the Mully Children Family expansion of the knowledge of the young people so that we can build the future
Our future,
of
yes.
these young people.
That's awesome. And one thing that you didn't mention, with all the things that you're doing, you're creating peace, which is wonderful. And to me, I tie that back to Rotary because I look at Rotary as a way of developing peace in the world, peace amongst nations. And that's awesome because you now have a whole group of people, generations and generations, that are going to want to go forward and do the same thing that you're doing, which is beautiful.
Julie, a couple of things. I'm glad you mentioned that. You know this, but the month of February is the month that we sort of honor peace efforts and pay attention to it. But I have a couple of questions I want to ask Charles. So, Charles, you started out, according to your book and your movie, where you brought 1 or 2 children home, and then pretty soon another child or two. What was your wife's reaction after the first time?
We get that question a lot. Huh?
Yeah, really, it was very, very hard for her. And be able to see husband, me, Charles Mully, now saying that I'm moving and I will never work for money. I will give everything that I saved, the wealth and so forth. It was very hard. And like any other woman, she felt like I was running away from her and from the family. My 8 biological children were also in a different opinion. They felt like I was denying them their right. They were a little bit, spectacle, and they never wanted to really me to move to that. And my wife became thin. She became so weak because she could not understand why am I doing that over all the years. And then living now the family, like saying, I want to build a big family. Of course, now it is the biggest family in the world now, as we talk. But my wife really suffered, but God really spoke to her, and she had a big heart and a love for me and for the ministry, and she has been doing so well. The pastor, as well as also the people in the church where I used to attend, they also approached me and they said, no, you cannot do this. You are doing it wrong. How do you associate yourself with the
That's crazy.
children, street boys, prostitute, and thieves who will never help you? We cannot allow you. And so they discommunicated me from the church. And then I said, okay, what do I do? They said, choose what you want to do, either to be in our church, be our leader, or you go and be with the children. I told them I'll be with the children because already I left my business, now leaving the church because of the children, because I want to do that compassion, love of God to mankind. That's what I wanted also to see. And therefore, my wife, she is now one of those who are in the forefront. The church members, they came, they've apologized after about 10 years later.
10 years, wow.
10 years. And now everybody in Kenya, they love this ministry. Everybody, the government also appreciate very much what
you're changing the world. It's awesome.
Oh, yes, everybody. And we feel that, like as a family, we need more people to join us so that this mission, this dream, that can be accomplished.
That's beautiful.
One other thing, if I'm not mistaken, people who may doubt all these wonderful things you're doing can come see for themselves, can't they?
That's right. I was going to mention that.
Awesome.
About 7-8 times a year, we take groups out and we supply accommodation and transportation from Nairobi, and they can come and we have trips where you can do a tour of MCF over a couple days. We have trips coming up to where we have people volunteer, medical people, and come out and do volunteer work where we not only help the children and people at MCF, but with the whole community.
Wonderful.
And those are coming up this year. We have one in April and again in June and July quite often. So if someone is interested in coming out and seeing this, they're welcome to visit our website or reach out, and we'll gladly accommodate that.
And let's give the website information. Sure. And we didn't mention, are you on Facebook, Twitter?
We are on Facebook, and we are on Twitter. You can find it just by searching Mully Children's Family. Our website, again, is mcfus.org, and they can reach out via that website to me or anybody via email from there.
And you've mentioned, so there's also a couple different books?
Yes.
Hannah's
Hope. Father to the Fatherless is a book that was written that the movie is based on. Wonderful book, and allows you to kind of dig in a little bit deeper than the movie that we have. And, of course, you can talk about the other book because it impacted you greatly.
Yes. Hannah's Hope is a heartwarming story. And it starts out with Hannah basically being pretty much hopeless. Her twin sister dies. Her parents die. I believe her grandparents take her. And then through a miracle, basically he had a relation who knew about Dr. Mully's organization, and he arranged for Hannah to go and become an orphan in that program. And then her story goes on to talk about how her life began to change as a part of that. And that's what caused me to ask the question about what did she end up doing, because it didn't really say at the end of the book that she was doing such and such, but you could just tell by the last chapter or two that she had obviously become sort of a psychiatrist or counselor or something like that.
Awesome. And let's give the information again for tonight's talk, if we have listeners that want to participate, and there's no charge to come to this.
That is right. It is a totally free event. Our church is opening its doors, and happy to have Charles come and share his love of not only Jesus, but what he's done for children. We're assuming that it'll take somewhere around maybe 40 to 60 minutes at the most. There will be some refreshments afterwards, and as Jason mentioned, they have some books and some other things that people can take a look at and take away.
And that's at Grace Point Church.
Grace Point Church, 801 South Lower Sacramento Road.
At 6:30 tonight.
6:30 tonight.
All right. And any final words that either one of you or all three of you would like to add? Any final comments?
I would like also to say that this year on 25th of October this year, we are going to celebrate 30 years anniversary.
Wow.
The seeing God's wondrous grace upon the ministry, where we have been able to reach over 670,000 young people in schools in Kenya, and by also providing food, raw food to them, and also educating young people, where we have also several young people in Australia, here in the USA, Canada, who are studying there, and being able to say thank you to God that He has seen us this far. And we would also like to have medical camp groups from USA, and we invite some of those who are nurses, as well as also doctors, gynecologists, that before then, let's say June, July, August, we are creating teams to come to Africa, Mully Children Family, Kenya, and you might be one of those who would really come through mcfusa.org, then you can get more information.
Awesome.
Thank
Wonderful.
you so much.
Charles, do you have any need for veterinarians over there?
Yes, we have animals, quite a lot, and goats, sheep, and cows. And therefore, when we talk about veterinary, I would say yes. So, yes, we have need for that.
Great.
I'll keep that in mind. All right. Anything that you'd like to add, Jason?
No, just want to invite people to our website and look for us on Facebook and reach out if you have any needs or questions, and we'll be more than glad to help you out.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, all of you, for coming to the studio today and just sharing your amazing story and just your whole philosophy and the family, the children's family that you've built, and the foundation, and all the people that you're helping. It's phenomenal. And as we mentioned earlier, for me, I love the fact that you're also creating peace, and you're spreading love, you're spreading God's word, you're spreading knowledge, you're giving people hope. And it's beautiful.
Great.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you so much.
And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I am the voice of Stockton. You are the voice of Stockton. We are the voice of Stockton. Let's make it a great day.